Hey folks, this is Trasknari. We just finished a session of the Shadowfell campaign, and it was fun. Okay, we last left off. We had fought off a bunch of goblins, and one had run off in one direction. So us, being the brilliant party we are, decided to go in the complete opposite direction. We find a room full of goblins and a hobgoblin who is wrapped up in a bunch of leather armor, carrying a hot poker, like standing in front of a pit of fire. So immediately, Wherefore bursts in the door, kicks the crap out of the guy next to him, like one of the goblins, and the party just kind of funnels in. Highlights of this fight included when Wherefore leapt on a table and used his shout of triumph to send the hobgoblin careening backwards into the pit of fire. The hobgoblin then stood up, walked around Wherefore, who completely missed his attack, and then just kind of shoved him into the fire. So Wherefore almost fell unconscious twice in this fight, and if he'd fallen unconscious in the fire, he would have died. Blinks chased a goblin under a table, then proceeded to crawl under the table and have a stabbing match with him, whereupon neither seemed to hit each other. Zeratul managed to hit absolutely nobody the entire damn fight, except a couple of times, but he just kept trying to use his lightning and just kind of scared a guy in the corner and just kind of kept him there. Thane was firing arrows all over the place and I think he critted one. I might be mistaken, but it got pretty epic. We managed to finally defeat the guy with Wherefore swings his scimitar down, slices the guy up, and he looks down at him and goes, "Looks like he just." And he reaches down, puts on some sunglasses. Couldn't stand the heat. Yeah. So for this entire session, Wherefore became David Caruso, so it was fun. We took one of them hostage, and he led us to a place where they had imprisoned another goblin named Splug. This goblin named Splug is kind of a jokester who tricked all the other goblins. They got pissed at him, started torturing him. So once we find out that this guy is cooperating with us far better than our other prisoner, Zeratul just immediately slices the guy's neck. And Sumus is the only good aligned player, and she wasn't here for this session, so nobody stopped him. And so then we free Splug, and we give him some weapons, and he says he'll fight alongside us as long as we promise to get rid of all the other goblins. So we go down. At this point, Wherefore notices a large Iron Maiden in the room and decides to take it with him, just shoving it along the corridor as he walks. We find an excavation site where there are a bunch of goblins working, and we hatch a plan. We find that the goblin that we had chased before was dead on the floor, and someone had killed him. So without even thinking, we just pick up his body and shove it in the Iron Maiden and close the door. Wherefore pushes the Iron Maiden right up to the door, like the entranceway to the room. One of the tiles, there were two tiles leading into the room, while everyone else hides. And Sumus uses ghost sound to make a loud shriek from the whatchamaface from the Iron Maiden, and everyone freaks out and looks up at it. And then Wherefore body checks the Iron Maiden, so the door swings open and the corpse flops onto the ground. The entire room full of goblins screams and runs out of the room, like just immediately booking it into a hidden door which leads to the barracks. We go into the room where they just were and just kill a couple of guard drakes that were still in there. And I'm not quite sure why it was there, but Zeratul found a holy symbol of Bahamut and decides to keep it since he's carrying the symbol of Orcus as well, so he's kind of the one carrying all of those. We decide to continue along our path and kind of go to where they were before, and decide that Splug says there's a lot of them, so we don't really want to kill them. So what we want to do is chase them, like scare them away. So what we do is we move the sarcophagus. Well, first we send in Blinks to go sneak in, and he finds the goblin leader, who's this big fat goblin asleep, and proceeds to crit him with a stealth daily, where he smashes the goblin's face in with the pommel of his sword and instantaneously kills him. So he just caves in the guy's face. And then Splug, Zeratul, and Blinks all barely manage to carry the corpse of the Goblin King out. And at this point, Wherefore has placed one of the guard drake's corpses and impaled it on the top of the sarcophagus, and then stuck the body of the Goblin King in the sarcophagus, not sarcophagus, the Iron Maiden, and then stabs the hot poker that he took from the Hobgoblin Torturer into the Goblin King's face. Then he takes off all of it. The Wherefore takes off all his clothes and armor and stuff and gives it all to his friends, and then stands there right next to the sarcophagus, facing the door to the Goblin King's room. Splug tells Summus what the Goblin word for help is, and then she uses ghost sound in the room to alert all the goblins, like their king is yelling for help, and they run down, and then they see Wherefore standing like a statue right next to the open Iron Maiden with their slaughtered leader in there. Wherefore raises his finger, points to them, and says, "Leave now!" And they all run out except for one that trips and knocks himself unconscious, and they all just book it out. We tie up the one and decide not to kill him, because this is a whole way for us to get rid of these goblins without putting ourselves in danger and without having to kill all of them. So we tie up that one and kind of drag his... And for the record, Zeratul thinks I'm crazy for doing this entire plan, but it worked. We drag... everyone holes up in the room and goes to sleep, except for Thane, who keeps watch, while Wherefore carries the unconscious tied up goblin out to the door, then slices the rope binding his feet so that when he wakes up he can run away, and Wherefore enters a stance where he just kind of stands still and it pretty much goes into a low power mode where he recharges his abilities but is still aware. And while he's doing this, suddenly he feels a dark presence, and the goblin in front of him just has his neck fucking snapped. And Wherefore immediately wakes up, flips the fuck out, and runs back and jumps into the room yelling, "Zeratul, hold me, I'm scared!" And with that, everyone was rested up, and we prepared to descend further down into the dungeon, and that is where we left off. That's where we ended. Not a whole lot of combat this time, other than the guard drakes and the Hobgoblin Torturer, but it was definitely a fun experience. It was really fun to roleplay and kind of pull off those evil techniques. So bear in mind that Wherefore is chaotic neutral and is completely insane. So yeah, this was a really fun one. Tomorrow when I'm recording this, I'll be doing my session and then get a full week off from D&D, which I might need. I'll see you guys later. This is Traskanari.